BookTube. This is Kelly with Books I'm Not Reading. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is my Q&A video in response to your questions and getting 500 subscribers. So thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, liked, commented. Yeah, thank you. It does mean a lot to me. You guys had some really tough questions, so if I do not answer your question in this video, I have answered it in the previous video where you posted your question. So if there's a question that you were also interested in, please check that out. Feel free to keep asking questions. I probably am never going to do a Q&A video again, so enjoy this one, I guess. So the first question is from Brian at Bookish. What books and/or authors do you and Jason disagree about the most? For those of you who are new to my channel, I am married to Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse. And truthfully, Brian, we really don't argue that much about books. I mean, we kind of know what each other likes and dislikes. The most heated arguments have to do with movies. but I will say, this book, Oscar and Lucinda by Peter Carey, is one of Jason's favorite books. It's what he wrote his thesis about in graduate school, and I read it for him because I love him, but never again. So I did not enjoy it, but sometimes we read things for the people we love, right? Miriam at Between Lines and Life asked, when it comes to reading within genres, do you have a specific genre as your go-to? Is there one you've avoided, and what would you like to try in the future? I would say generally I gravitate toward literary fiction and classics, but I'm always open to trying something different. I think as far as avoiding, I'm just really not into horror or the paranormal, those kind of books. That's really not my thing. And as far as what would you like to try in the future, I am this year trying to read poetry. Brian from Bookish and I have been doing a poetry for beginners kind of video series, and that has been really rewarding and challenging. So Debbie Baker, thank you, Debbie, for commenting. If you could make a pilgrimage to any author's grave, who would you choose? I don't know if her grave is there. I'm assuming it is, but I would really like to go to the Betsy Tacy Festival, which I'm not sure if it's still happening or not, but there was one in Mankato every year, and so I would really like to see the inspiration for the Betsy Tacy series by Maud Hart Lovelace. So that would be my pilgrimage. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, several of you asked about the library bag sale, and I think Jason and I have a conflict that day, so I don't know that we're going to be able to go. But yeah, if we can sneak in footage, we'll do our best. Justin with 3 stars after his name. Justin, I hope you think of yourself as more than 3 stars, or maybe it's 3 out of 3, right? Were any books important in getting you into reading as a youth? Where the home that I grew up in was very much you were in charge of entertaining yourself. And my parents, I mean, obviously, I did do things with my parents, but and my mom especially, she was an art teacher, so we did a lot of crafting things together, which was really fun. But the house was totally full of books, and there were no rules, there were no restrictions, there was no, Kelly, you're not allowed to read these books. So yeah, I mean, there were bookshelves everywhere. So I read a lot of stuff. Some of it I regret. I read a lot of romance novels for adults as I was growing up, and I think that was maybe not the healthiest choice, but oh well. Becky Ford. Thank you, Becky, for commenting and leaving a question. So she has a really interesting one. If given the opportunity to handpick a Pulitzer Prize winner, living or dead, who would you pick? It could be living, dead, or fictional. And I think she actually asked about the committee. And I don't pay that much attention to who's on the committee, but the person that I really, really would like to win a Pulitzer Prize is Louise Erdrich. And I think she's been a finalist at least once, maybe twice. But she should have the Pulitzer Prize. So I don't know so much about, like I said, I don't pay that much attention to who's on the committee. But I wish Louise Erdrich would win a Pulitzer Prize. Mark Nash asked, favorite novel not written by an American. Mark, do I only talk about American authors on this channel? Like, really? So you have to know that my favorite novel not written by an American is Pride and Prejudice. But if you look at my BookTube top 10 stag, I believe Charlotte Bronte is on there, Elizabeth Gaskell, Charles Dickens. So if anything, I might be guilty of leaning more toward British literature than anything else. But yeah, so this is my favorite book. Joe Smith, favorite fictional character and why? So I don't know that I have a favorite fictional character, but this is a character that I aspire to be like. So, and I don't know that I've shown this on this channel before. This is Jerry Spinelli's book called Stargirl. It's probably geared toward more middle school, early high school readers. It's a really short little thing. But Stargirl is totally herself. She is totally authentic. Until someone else is trying to make her be like everybody else. And then she's super sad and she's it's a really interesting story about, do you conform? How much do you care about what other people think? And I know that is something that I really struggle with is caring too much about what other people think. But this is a great book. I really recommend it. I just recommend it in general, but definitely if you have kids, this is a really great one about just who you are and embracing that and being true to yourself. The sequel is called Love Stargirl, and it is terrible, so do not read the sequel. Okay, all right. So that was from Joe Smith. And the last question is from Madeleine at Made with Books. And this is a great question as well. So Madeleine asked if you have you found any of your poetry, have you found any new or favorite poetry or classical music with your ongoing reading projects? So I've already mentioned the Poetry for Beginners project, which is moving along really well. But for those of you who don't know, this year I've been reading Year of Wonder. Clemency Burton Hill wrote this. It is classical music for every day. The only tricky thing about this book is that you basically are sort of forced to buy the music from iTunes, but it makes it so much easier because there's a playlist for every month of the year, and then you can just go in and, if there's somebody that you really love, you can see the CD of whatever version of that piece you're listening to and get it. But I have to say, this book is so amazing. I don't know that I necessarily will say that I've suddenly found a new classical author or composer that I love, or a new piece of classical music, and she has a broad definition of that, by the way. There's opera, there's songs from musicals, there are so it's fantastic though, and I am already wondering if this is going to be my favorite book of the year, because I am getting such joy from learning about all of these different pieces of classical music, and her commentary on them is just really lighthearted. There's great stories, and it just makes you really curious. And I mean, I don't know, like, I just think it's fantastic. I don't know, is anybody else out there, if you're reading this, like, leave a comment below and let me know what your experience of it is, what you think of it. But I can't recommend this book enough so far, and I've read through the end of April, so, and listened to the music as well. So thank you guys so much again for your wonderful support. I felt like the group of questions was really interesting. I felt like the group of people who responded to the video was, yeah, like, I mean, there were a few people missing, which is okay, but it really felt like the part of BookTube that I tend to gravitate to, and the channels that I watch a lot and that kind of thing. So thank you guys so much. I do want to say, Becky Ford, you are the winner of the giveaway for the James Galvin book, which I totally forgot and left it upstairs. So please be in touch with me about how I can get that to you. And thank you guys. Yeah, it's delightful. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have a great weekend, BookTube. I'll talk to you soon.